Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I seem to be on audio only again. It's my fault. So I'll be sure to let you know it's me speaking when I speak.
Okay, I think you're showing up as call-in user 5, if I'm not mistaken. Do you want to respond real quick? Yes,
okay.
You're call-in user 5. Great. I won't. I muted somebody just a minute ago because we were having a little bit of a feedback issue, but
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Shannon,
Yes.
do you have my video? This is Maria. Never mind. I found it.
Shannon, are we taped up and ready to go?
We are ready to roll when you are ready to start.
Okay, I would like to call the December 10th, 2020 Development Commission meeting to order, and we will begin as usual with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and since Marty is occupying call-in person number 5, perhaps she would like to make a motion to table case number 5 tonight.
I would be happy. It's Marty speaking. I move to table case number 5.
Second?
Who was the second by? Was that Chair Fitzpatrick?
No, Kay seconded it. Marty made the motion.
Okay, thank
And
you.
now call for a voice vote. All those in favor of tabling case number 5, say aye.
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 Okay, let us move on to the agenda. Case number 1, Z20-32, 972 Harmon Avenue.
I think Tim's here. Whoops.
Shannon, you're going in and out, right?
Is this better?
Oh, we can hear you, Tim.
Do I need to start over?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. The 0.72 acre site consists of 3 parcels developed with multiple buildings and a contractor's storage yard, all operating as one entity in the C4 commercial and R4 residential districts. The site is subject to code violation order number 18470-00-07731 for establishing storage in the R4 district in violation of an approved site plan and without zoning clearance. The requested M manufacturing district will conform the existing storage use on site. North of the site are single unit dwellings in the C4 and R4 districts. South of the site is a gas station in the M manufacturing district. East of the site is a single unit dwelling in the R4 residential district and an office building in the C4 commercial district. And west of the site is an equipment rental company in the C4 commercial district. Concurrent council variance CV 20-037 has been filed and includes variances to reduce parking lot landscaping, parking setbacks, building setbacks, and storage setbacks. That request will be heard by City Council and will not be considered at this Development Commission meeting. The site is within the planning boundaries of the West Franklinton Plan, which recommends community commercial land uses at this location. Additionally, the site is within an area that has adopted the Columbus Citywide Planning Policies design guidelines. The requested M manufacturing district will conform the existing contractor storage yard and office. The proposed zoning district permits all commercial uses, which is consistent with the West Franklinton Plan's land use recommendation for community commercial uses. Additionally, the proposal is compatible with adjacent zoning on the southeast corner of Harmon and Greenlawn Avenues, and therefore our city department's recommendation is for approval. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Okay, Dan, traffic issues?
No traffic issues.
And is Kathy among us?
Yes, sir.
Any comment from you, Kathy?
No comments at this time. Thank you.
All right. Is the applicant here?
Yes, it's Jeff Brown,
Okay.
with Smith and Hale representing the applicant.
All right. You have staff approval, area commission approval, and the floor is yours.
This client's owned this property since 1990, and over the years, it bought the alley and then the parcel next to the alley. And I guess no one was paying attention to the zoning until the city brought it to their attention. And so this proposed zoning and council variance will basically confirm with what the property's been used for a very long time. And it's a contractor's yard.
Okay. Any questions from the commission? Okay, let's call the roll.
Okay. Marty Anderson,
This is Marty, yes.
Maria Conroy,
Yes.
Amanda Golden,
Yes.
John Ingwerton,
Yes.
Kayan Wookwe,
Yes.
and Chair Fitzpatrick.
Yes, you have a full house and you have a 6-0 approval.
Thank you very much.
Okay, let's go to case number 2, Z20-065, 986 Cleveland Avenue.
In your supplemental packet for this case is an email from traffic management explaining their support for the proposal. The remainder of the traffic comments will be addressed with the concurrent council variance, which will be heard by City Council. Additionally is a revised site plan and text, which address the following comments from traffic management and parks and recreation and parks. The clear vision code citation added to the text, a connecting lot from Gibbard to the parking lot, and 2 street trees were added. Additionally is a letter of opposition. The site consists of 9 parcels that are developed with a few vacant commercial buildings, but is otherwise primarily undeveloped. The requested AR3 apartment residential district will permit a mixed-use development with a maximum of 90 apartment units and a ground floor commercial use. The proposed CPD, Commercial Plan Development District, will permit a parking lot exclusively for the proposed mixed-use development. To the north of the site, across Gibbard Avenue, is a commercial development and undeveloped land in the CPD, Commercial Plan Development District, and a single-unit dwelling in the R4 Residential District. To the south, across East 3rd Avenue, is a commercial development in the C4 and R4 commercial and R4 residential districts. To the east are single-unit dwellings in the R4 Residential District. To the west, across Cleveland Avenue, is industrial development in the N Manufacturing District. Concurrent CV20-072 has been filed for the pending AR3 portion of the site to permit the commercial use and vary the parking setback line, minimum numbers of parking spaces, vision clearance, landscaping, lot coverage, and building lines. That request will be heard by City Council and will not be considered at this Development Commission meeting. The site is subject to the Milo-Grogan Urban Commercial Overlay and is located within the boundaries of the Milo-Grogan Neighborhood Plan, which recommends commercial and multifamily land uses for the pending AR3 portion of the site, and single-family residential uses for the pending CPD portion of the site. Additionally, the plan includes adoption of the Columbus Citywide Planning Policy Design Guidelines. The C2P2 guidelines recommend that buildings have high-quality materials with 4-sided architecture, as well as parking that is located to the rear or side of buildings. The plan also recommends that multi-unit buildings incorporate building articulation through the use of bays, balconies, cornice lines, and varying roof lines. The site is located within the boundaries of the Milo-Grogan Area Commission, whose recommendation is for approval. The development text permits only parking lots, commits to a site plan, and includes development standards addressing setbacks, site access, landscaping, building design, lighting, and graphics provisions. Variances to reduce the number of parking lot trees and parking setback line and to not have independent maneuvering area for the interior parking spaces are included in this request. The requested AR3 apartment residential and CPD commercial plan development district will allow multi-unit residential development in a parking lot which meets the intent of the urban commercial overlay. It is compatible with adjacent uses along the Cleveland Avenue corridor. The request is also consistent with the land use recommendations of the Milo Grogan Area Plan, C2P2 design guidelines, and several considerations that support the encroachment of the parking lots across the rear alley. The additional discussions have been had with Division of Traffic Management, and they are in support of this rezoning moving forward. There are a few minor comments that the council variance needs to address, and Daniel can address those if you have any questions for him. But City Department's recommendation has been updated to approval. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, you are now in full approval, correct?
Correct.
Okay, any questions from any of the commission members? Okay, Dan, do you want to elaborate on any of these parking and traffic issues, or are they pretty much apropos at this point?
Site items that have now been revised. We wanted to note that there is a pending parking study that would need to be completed. I believe it's in progress. That for a significant parking variance that would be needed to support the proposed use. That's primarily going to be taken through the council variance process. We wanted to just make sure that that was brought up at this meeting so the commission's aware. We did not intend that to affect the staff recommendation.
Okay. Kathy, anything from you?
Recreation and Parks has no comments at this time. Thank you.
All right. Any questions from any of the commission members? The applicant is here.
Yes.
Dave?
Yes. Dave Perry on behalf of, and then.
Excuse me, are there any speakers? Are there any speakers regarding this application, number 2? Any call-ins?
Chair, someone raised their hand. There is a speaker.
There's one speaker. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. David, do you want to add anything to the staff's presentation?
Oh, just briefly, Dave Perry here as agent for the applicant, and Joel Yakovac with Colliers International is on the call also. This is just, I mean, what an exciting project. I mean, the Milo Grogan neighborhood is seeing large scale development, and this is one of them. In this case, we have staff approval, Milo Grogan unanimous approval, planning staff review of the building renderings as being compliant with C2P2 and so on. About a week ago, the request for parking study came up, and this was already scheduled, and we have engaged that promptly, but of course can't produce a parking study within just a few days. So we are proceeding with that and completely in agreement with that occurring, and traffic review and approval occurring before the ordinances go to council.
Okay, let's hear from our speaker. Give us your comments. You got 3 minutes, same as if we were at City Council.
Thank you. I've learned some new things this evening during the course of this meeting that really removes any need for me to testify beyond the written testimony that I already have provided. But thank you so much.
Okay, well, thank you for your interest in making the community better. And Milo Grogan's perfectly positioned to go forward right here. Shannon, do we need to put any language in this regarding that parking, that remaining parking, or is that strictly variance material?
We will not send the ordinance to City Council until after that study is complete. And then our staff recommendation would be based off of the result of that study.
All right, well then let's call the roll.
Wait,
Chair.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Yeah, we need a motion for the amended CPD text and site plan.
Okay.
Well, I have a question about the letter actually noted something about waste removal or capacity, and I don't think that's been addressed.
I can address that. There are dumpster boxes shown at the southeast corner of the building, and I think their letter questioned capacity. And what will happen on the refuse is that there will be a multi-day pickup to meet the city's capacity and pickup standards.
Thank you.
All right, so what is I can't read the fine print here in the webcast. What is the date of this revised text? And I see 12/1/20 is the text, but how about the site plan that goes with it? Same date?
They're both December 10th.
December 10th. Okay.
Yeah, they're both December 10th.
All right. Who would like, would our call-in voice number 5 like to make the motion?
Absolutely. This is Marty. I move to approve the 12/10/20 revision.
Who would like to second that?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay, please call the roll for case number 2.
Maria Conroy,
Yes.
Amanda Golden,
Yes.
Ron Ingwerson,
Yes.
Kayan Wookwe,
Yes.
Marty Anderson,
This is Marty. Yes.
and Chair Fitzpatrick.
Yes, you are approved and going forward to City Council. Thank you very much. Okay, case number 3, Z20-069, 921 Parsons Avenue.
The 0.17 acre site consists of 2 parcels, each developed with a single unit dwelling in the C5 commercial district as a result of rezoning request Z77-042 effective August 24th, 1977. The applicant requests the C4 commercial district to permit a mixed use development. North of this site is a religious facility in the C4 commercial district. South of the site is a community market in the C4 commercial district. East of the site is a commercial parking lot in the C4 district, and west of the site is a 2-unit dwelling in the R2F residential district. Concurrent council variance CV 20-079 has been filed and includes variances to permit ground floor residential uses, reduced vision clearance, and a parking reduction from 20 to 11 spaces. That request will be heard by City Council and will not be considered at this Development Commission meeting. The site is within the planning boundaries of the South Side Plan, which recommends neighborhood mixed use at this location. Additionally, the site is within an area that has adopted the Columbus Citywide Planning Policies design guidelines. The site is located within the boundaries of the Columbus Southside Area Commission, whose recommendation is for approval. The proposed C4 commercial district will permit the site to be developed with a mixed-use development. The proposed zoning district allows uses that are consistent with the Southside Plan's land use recommendation for neighborhood mixed use. Additionally, the proposed zoning district is consistent with the zoning and development pattern along this stretch of Parsons Avenue and will not add incompatible uses to the area, and therefore our city department's recommendation is for approval.
Okay, any questions from the commission? Dan, traffic issues?
All traffic issues have been addressed.
And Kathy, Recreation Parks?
Recreation Parks has no concerns with this.
Okay, is the applicant here on the screen? Good. All right, is there any speaker regarding case number 3 tonight on Parsons Avenue? Don't see any motion. So, well, the applicant, did you have anything to add to the staff report? Give your name for the record. I see your eyes moving, but it's your turn to speak.
having an audio issue. We
Brian
can't hear you,
Higgins.
Brian.
All right, I'm going to assume that it is appropriate to go forward and have the vote since you already have staff approval. Okay, great. And you also got the Community Commission approved. At this time, please call the roll.
Amanda Golden,
Yes.
John Ingwerson,
Yes.
Tayan Mukwe,
Yes.
Marty Anderson,
This is Marty, yes.
Maria Conroy,
Yes.
and Chair Fitzpatrick.
Yes, you are approved. Okay, let's go forward to case number 4. Z20-079 3655 West Dublin Granville Road.
The site consists of one parcel developed with an eating and drinking establishment zoned in the C3 Commercial District. The applicant is requesting the CPD Commercial Plan Development District to permit an automatic car wash and C4 uses. To the north of the site, across West Dublin Granville Road, and to the east are eating and drinking establishments in the CPD Commercial Plan Development District. To the south, across Reflections Drive, and to the west, across Martin Road, are commercial developments in the C3 Commercial District. The site is subject to the State Route 161 Regional Commercial Overlay and is located within the boundaries of the Northwest Plan, which recommends mixed-use 2 land uses at this location. The site is located within the boundaries of the Northwest Civic Association, whose recommendation is for approval, but strongly supports the removal of the billboard located on the property at the earliest feasible time. The development text commits to a site plan, landscaping plan, and elevation, and includes development standards addressing site access, setbacks, and landscaping and screening. Variances to parking setback lines, dumpster area location, and to eliminate the bypass lane requirement are included in this request. The Columbus Thoroughfare Plan identifies this portion of Dublin Granville Road as a suburban commuter corridor requiring a minimum of 120 feet of right-of-way from Centerline. The requested CPD Commercial Plan Development District will allow a car wash that is compatible with adjacent commercial development. The proposal is also consistent with the land use and site design recommendations of the Northwest Plan. Planning Division staff continues to request additional street trees along the West Dublin Granville Road frontage in coordination with the City Forester, but does not condition support upon this addition. Therefore, City staff's recommendation is for approval, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Okay, Dan, traffic for the car wash?
All questions have been addressed.
Okay, and Kathy, Recreation Parks?
As noted, we're working with planning and do request some additional trees, but this is not contingent for approvals at this point. We will at least make another request during the site compliance process as they finish their engineering to find out what site visibilities we have.
Well, the entire building presents itself pretty strongly. There's one of those on Route 23 north of Columbus. It's very bold. Is the applicant here?
Yes, this is Jared Mahaffey. I'm with CESO. I'm the civil engineer working to prepare this plan. Barry Nutter with Blue Sky Car Wash is also on the separate line as well. But yes, I'm here to answer any questions you have.
Okay. Let me ask if there are any speakers regarding case number 4 trying to get their voice on the web. I see no report. Anyone? Shannon?
I'm not aware of any speakers for this application.
Okay, you have staff approval and you have the area commission with you. So is there anything you'd like to add to the presentation before we vote?
No, just to thank you to Haley for working us through this process. This was initially an unforeseen for this site development. She's been wonderful to work with, especially given the conditions of this year.
I'd like to put a pitch in for the trees because it looks like the same building you have up on Route 23, south of Delaware. It's a very unique and interesting building, and it's strong enough that it wouldn't be diminished if it had a couple trees in front of it. In fact, it will be enhanced. So think about that between now and the time you put a shovel in the ground. Anybody else have any comments?
Mr. Chairman, it's Marty. I would like to put more than a pitch in for the trees.
Okay.
I think it's only responsible. I see that staff is not conditioning approval upon it, but if it were me, I would. So that's my pitch.
Well, and we've been in this position before where we were admonished that we could not make that a condition. But I'm an optimist, and I believe people that do good buildings make good decisions. And I believe a good decision would be plant a few trees along that road to enhance the very bold expression of the car wash. So I'm with you 100%. That said, and if the commitment to plant trees is in your heart, be sure to mention that at City Council and win friends and influence those folks. With that said, please call the roll.
John Ingwerson.
Yes.
Kay Unwukwe.
Yes.
Marty Anderson.
This is Marty, yes.
Maria Conroy. Did we lose Maria? Maria Conroy. I think I heard a muffled yes.
I see her looking. Maria.
Did you say yes, Maria?
Yes.
Okay, I can hear you now. Amanda Golden.
Yes.
And Chair Fitzpatrick.
Yes, you are approved.
Thank you.
Okay, we have already tabled case number 5, so we will go ahead to case number 6. Z20-085, 175 Business Center Drive.
Before beginning, I just wanted to draw your attention to the supplemental packet that was sent out earlier. That packet contained 2 letters of support and 1 letter in opposition of this request. The 6.67 acre site consists of part of 2 undeveloped parcels in the M2 Limited Manufacturing District. The applicant requests the LAR1 Limited Apartment Residential District to permit a multi-unit residential development containing up to 144 apartment units at 21.6 units per acre gross density. North of the site is an equipment storage yard and office warehouse building in the M2 Manufacturing District. So the site is a commercial retail in the CPD Commercial Plan Development District and a multi-unit residential development in the PUD8 Planned Unit Development District. East and west of the site are warehouses in the M2 Manufacturing District. Concurrent CV 20-096 has been filed to reduce the required perimeter yard. That request will be heard by City Council and will not be considered at this Development Commission meeting. The site is within the planning boundaries of the Far East Land Use Plan, which recommends industrial and warehouse land uses at this location. The plan also includes complete adoption of the Columbus Citywide Planning Policies Design Guidelines. The site is located within the boundaries of the Far East Area Commission, whose recommendation is for approval. The limitation text establishes use restrictions and supplemental development standards that address the maximum number of permitted units and open space. Additionally, a commitment to the site plan has been included in the text. The proposed LAR1 Limited Apartment Residential District will permit a multi-unit residential development at this location containing up to 144 apartment units. The requested LAR1 zoning district is not compatible with the Far East land use plan's land use recommendation for industrial and warehouse uses at this location. While the applicant has incorporated staff suggestions regarding the overall site and building layout, encroachment of residential uses in areas that are predominantly employee-based may diminish employment use prospects in the future, which is contrary to the goals of both the C2P2 design guidelines and the city economic development policy. Furthermore, the placement of residential districts in industrial areas can pose land use conflicts and can render industrial uses that are adjacent to this proposed residential district as non-conforming. And that results in a city department recommendation of disapproval, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Okay, Dan, traffic issues?
A traffic access study has been approved for this application, and eastbound left turn lane will need to be added at the proposed access point to North Bryce Road.
Okay, and I see there's an emergency access as well. And Kathy?
We have no additional comments, although, again, we strongly have talked about it and suggest that they try and preserve as many trees as possible. They've done so on the buffer surrounding the perimeter of the development, but it's a pretty intensive development, so there's not a lot of room for trees unless they're very creative and very thoughtful.
Well, they look full. Okay, any comment from the Development Commission?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Kay.
Tim, I have a question for you. It looks like the Far East land are going against their own proposal that suggests, warehouse and other stuff. Do you know why?
That would be correct, Commissioner Onwukwe. And I don't have any details as to why. They did not provide any they didn't provide any written commentary when they gave us the recommendation back, but it was, I believe, a unanimous vote. So.
Yeah, it was a 5-0 vote, and this is an infill piece of property, and it's sat vacant for quite a while. So I have a feeling that the area commission, who has the biggest stake in the area, would like to see some action there rather than continuing unbuilt property. Are there any speakers with this?
Mr. Chairman, this is Jeff Brown. I'm sorry, I lost internet there for a second, but it sounds like you're doing a very nice job. Jeff Brown, Smith & Hale for the applicant. The reason we were looking at this piece of property is that in the office opportunities, the other employment opportunities, restaurants, et cetera, in this area, and it being located behind the Menards and already existing multifamily development, we thought our use was appropriate. It's a left piece of property that people have been trying to sell and develop for a long, long time. When we went to the area commission, they had no problems with the proposed use. They liked the use. It was a very short hearing, and they unanimously approved what we requested to do. We did make the changes that the staff had asked for in terms of our site plan and how that gets handled. So what you're seeing, absent this idea that this is some employment center, the zoning text and the drawing meets the other city concerns and everything. We do have 3 speakers. There's a Joe Bauman, a Larry Levine, and Charlie Frost that own property in the area. One of them is an adjacent property owner. And if they could just make a couple comments, and then I'd be happy to answer any questions that the commission might have.
All right, let's do that. Each speaker's got 3 minutes to express himself or herself. Who will be first?
I'm gonna go first. I'm okay. I'm Larry Levine. I own some of the property there, and my office and plant is adjacent to it. we need employees. We could use having people in apartments in that area there, and our facility is light manufacturing, print on paper and sell to t-shirt shops worldwide. So looking at the actual plan today, I'm even more encouraged by it because it's beautiful. Has a little lake in there we can all go fishing in. And I know that it's very important for us to be able to attract good people that are nearby. So I'm all for this. I think it's a great use for it, and I'm happy that they have approached us to put those apartments there. So we're all in on it. We think it's a great idea. Any questions for me? So I did it all in 2 minutes. I'm good. Okay.
Hi, my name is Joe Bauman, and I'm the owner of, I'm sorry, can everybody hear me? I'm the owner of MJ Bauman Plumbing, and my business is located, it's about less than a minute drive from the proposed housing. And I have about 85 employees, and I've been doing a lot of outreach lately, trying to recruit and hire younger guys, kids in high school that don't want to go to college and, you know, want to get into a trade. Like Larry, I have a hard time getting employees. And I would love to have, you know, new housing that's affordable, that's near my place of business, you know, for my employees. You know, a lot of them could rent units, live there. I think it would be great. And also, I think there's a lot of businesses and restaurants out on Broad Street. I mean, it's just loaded. You can get anything you want. And I think it would be a good thing to have, you know, more people that could patronize those places, you know, once we get through this virus. But yeah, I'm like Larry, I'm all for it. And I think it would be great to have them nearby. Thank you.
Hi, can you guys hear me? I'm Charlie Frost with Casto. We own a portion of this land. Columbus Corporate Center is a landowner there. We have owned it, I believe,
oh,
since
no.
the 50s.
I've lost him again.
Oh, you lost me?
Oh my God.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Jesus Christ.
The pitfalls of Zoom.
Everybody is there. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Let me see.
Oh, it's WebEx.
You guys hear me if I stop the video?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me if I stop? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear
Okay,
you.
so I'll do it this way. Maybe it'll help just by stopping the video. We've owned this property for, I believe, since the 50s, and then to do industrial in the 70s, and we've had a hard time. This last piece we've owned for a long time, never been able to use it, and everybody's disappearing. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We've never been able to utilize it for any industrial. We believe that with Menards and the retail that's nearby, the multifamily project that is immediately to the south, and the multifamily project that we developed out here on land we have just north, not adjacent, but north of this area that we did at East Point Lakes about 15 years ago, all seems to kind of help create this use for a multifamily. So we would support that, and we think it's a good use for this particular area. We have a hard time with literally having no interest in industrial for this property for the last 40 years. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Charlie, I've got a question. So the industrial site that's directly to the north, how are you doing screening from your back side to that site, which they sent a letter that's part of this packet that talks about the noise from their operations impacting any residential there. Have you had any discussions with them, or have you sort of sussed out what you're going to do?
Well, John, actually, we're not the developer here. This is actually, we are a contract seller. We're selling this ground. And so I would defer to Jeff on this.
Great. Okay.
I think I'm the most immediate to the land, aren't I?
Hey guys, Joe Thomas with Metro Development. I don't know if Jeff's microphone's working at all. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
John, Joe Thomas, Metro Development. I'm the one that will be developing this property. And as Shannon had the screen up there before, we've designed this building and this property and the location of the buildings in such a manner that there is no bedrooms and no windows and no outside residents, facing that north property line. We've also pulled everything back from the property line to continue to keep the natural buffer, which is the existing trees in that area, as well as, we put adjacent garages as also additional buffer in that general vicinity to basically offset that. Our residents typically spend most of their time, not necessarily in their units, but also in the community center, which has the exercise facility and the pool area, which is further away from the industrial area. So we feel very comfortable that this is a compatible use. Just to the south of this property, there is an existing age-targeted residential condominiums that are just across North Bryce Road. And we think this would be an added buffer for them as well, between the high industrial use and their use up front.
I would like to ask a question. I'm looking at this overall site plan, and you've got a new sidewalk you're putting on your frontage, but then there's a no man's land after that. And with residential use in this industrial surrounding area, what would be your feeling about extending that sidewalk across the frontage to the west of this property to the next corner? Is that something you could do out of your budget?
Yeah, I have no objection to that, as long as we can work within the city of Columbus right away.
I think it would be good for the people that live in the community, and who knows how many kids will be part of that. So I'd like to see that commitment made to take that sidewalk down to the corner, and then see if somebody else can pick it up after that.
Yes, yeah, I'd be willing to make that commitment.
All right.
I think, Mr. Chairman, this is Maria. I see the other units that are south of this, but the uses behind are much heavier uses than are on the south side of Bryce Road. I mean, there's a distinct shift when you get to that site with the TNT and the Vesco oil and that kind of thing. So if you're envisioning right now, it would still be, because you'd be looking at having to cross Bryce Road. I mean, you'd still be an island in this kind of sea of industrial behind it. And even, getting to Menards, and you are basically getting everybody into their car. Is there a way, I don't know if this is up for Daniel or whatever, but to have any kind of pedestrian crossing across Bryce? I mean, if people are going to have some ability, there was a discussion about getting to Broad Street. Well, there is absolutely no way to get to Broad Street without pretty much killing yourself by foot. And then you're talking about driving to, it's shorter to walk, but you'd have to drive basically double the distance and then go park get to any of these things that you're saying would be a draw for people. I think more people would be likely to go drive through the Taco Bell to go get their dinner instead of trying to get to any of the, some of these other amenities. So I guess what I'm saying is, yes, I see if you're adding connectivity, I see there's some sidewalks on McCormick, but if there can be some, I know that Mike has just said about the connections along Bryce, but if there can be something that even, whether it's traffic and parking that deals with it, but something that's going to get them out of that island. So I'm not sure where my question is there, but I did want to reiterate that the uses above are not the same as the uses on the south side of Bryce where the other residential is, and there should be some sort of connection across.
And I, as the applicant, I'd be willing to work with the traffic and Daniel's group to mitigate that crosswalk. I think there's a solution here.
That could be like a pedestrian activated push button like Hayden or Bethel Road had at the Soma Athletic Club. It would only be activated by pedestrians that were there to walk across a 50-mile-an-hour traffic zone. I think we can leave that up to you to work with Dan to come up with a satisfactory configuration. I think that it's been said multiple times in this presentation that this infill property is an island and some pretty heavy duty traffic. Oh, we have a new member of the commission. Dan, will you work that out with Joe to prepare something in writing before city council?
We can work with them on additional sidewalk. There's public street intersections to the east and west of the site. I don't know at this point if we could commit to enhanced pedestrian crossings. We have a process with other staff that we go through for those kinds of requests. We have to coordinate with them for that.
All right. Well, I mean, the sidewalks are pretty simple to do, but they don't cover the fact they're getting across the street, but that's a start. Shannon, do you have enough of this conversation to write that up as a motion?
I would like to speak.
Okay, who is this?
This is Travis Frankenfield.
Okay, now you're speaking regarding, are you a neighbor? What's your role?
Yes, I am directly across the street on the opposite corner at 160 Business Center Drive.
Okay, please give us your comments.
All right, well, we are a construction company. We have up to 14 concrete pumps that park in the building across the street, and we're leaving at all hours of the night. We run 24/7, 365 besides your major holidays. And we feel that this is going to be an issue with the residential development right across the street from us. They're very large trucks. They're very loud, and they're traveling at all hours of the night. Between the noise and just the traffic of those big trucks, some of them weighing in excess of 100,000 pounds, traveling through a residential area, which is already very highly traveled by a lot of semis that do CDL testing at the end of Business Center Drive and things like that, may create a issue.
Well, it's Jeff. It's Jeff Brown. I'd just like to point out that there's already multifamily on the other side of the street.
Yeah, and I understand that, but they don't have to cross the street to get to everything. This is going to have kids crossing the street a lot. You know, if they're going across the street to go to Kroger or anything like that, you're going to have children crossing the street. And it's a very heavily traveled, not only by our machines that are running 24/7, but by many and many of semi trucks that go back to the CDL testing. And then beyond that, even we still have another parcel of land that we haven't developed attached. We own 6 acres. We've developed 3. We've got another 3 to go. Well, this residential neighborhood moving closer is going to limit us on what we can do with that property. we're going to fight the battle we already fought with the front because of the residential across the street.
Well, can I make a comment? I'm his neighbor across there. I'm not here during the evening, so I don't know about your trucks, but I can tell you that there's been no issues with the apartments across from us. So if there's no issues today with the CDL and with his trucks, I don't see issues tomorrow. That's where, and we're certainly not noisy, and you're only talking about, if you look at it, the one edge right there. So I know you have a concern as our neighbor, but I'm surprised that I would even hear that, because I've never seen any issues like that.
Oh, they're very large trucks. They make a lot of noise, and I feel like if you get families living right along Business Center Drive there, it will be an issue.
I think there are design choices that can be made with triple track windows and heavier insulation to deal with acoustics. And I think the developer.
You're not using the trucks, you're just parking them in your facility, right?
No, they roll in and out at all hours of the night. We're a concrete pumping company, and most of the large commercial projects are done in the middle of the night. So I've got machines rolling out of that facility tonight at 2 a.m., 1 a.m., all hours of the night, at least 6 days a week.
And as soon as, Mike, I've got a comment on this. You know, this opens that up. It doesn't matter that it's what the zoning is around it. If it's M or M1, by the fact that there's residential next to it, they're going to be held to like 60 decibels after, 9 at night or 8 at night by the health department. And that opens the can of worms for this guy's business. I mean, I don't know if a sound study's been done or not, but,
A couple things, Mr. Ingerson. Again, there's already existing multifamily across from the development. And I think in terms of the earlier discussion about the sidewalk, I think that would address the pedestrian issue. In terms of children, the typical development with Metro doesn't generate many kids. So I don't think you're going to have that as an issue. As they pointed out, there are some construction techniques that you can do if in terms of how you develop that piece of property. Unfortunately, it's kind of these leftover pieces that are the hardest to develop. I think in this situation, we have an appropriate use, and when we went to the area commission, they supported the request unanimously.
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
Yes, please.
I'm sorry, I didn't want to interfere with anybody else. Mr. Chairman, I greatly appreciate Mr. Frankenfield speaking up, and John Ingerson, I appreciate you too. Let's be real with this. The only losers of this potential variation from what the staff has commented upon as disapproval are the potential apartment dwellers in this proposed site. This non-conforming use would be the apartment dwellers, their loss. Mr. Frankenfield is being honest and noble to speak up and say, we run our semis all night. John Ingerson's point about noise decibels, a sidewalk across the street south of Bryce Road isn't going to change that. What's going on here is an attempt to take a site that is not meant to be residential. It hasn't produced product over the years, and we all regret that. But the losers are going to be the unknown persons enticed into this awkward site. And my sincere and comment to the commercial neighbor, Mr. Joe Bauman, about his need for employees in plumbing. He might want to reach out to a lot of gals as well as a lot of guys, completely unrelated to a site that is juxtaposed to his commercial site. I think this is a mistake. I have to agree with the staff on this. I don't know that the area commission didn't sit down and just say, oh, for God's sakes, this site has been unoccupied forever. We need to do something. I don't think that's what the responsible decision-making process tells us here. And I'm not the developer type. I'm not the architect, as you all know. But I think John's comment and Mr. Travis Frankenfield's honest, candid statement that his commercial venture is going to be completely in opposite to residential living there. And I think we ought to acknowledge that.
As the neighbor across the street, I would disagree because I have people working here all hours. Nobody's ever complained about the noise there. I have people in offices across there. And I appreciate him saying that, but I think it's overblown. And if you have whole apartments within 100 feet of there, they would have complained by now because those trucks would be going by their windows. And I've never heard anybody complain anywhere.
We're talking trucks within 50, 60 feet
Mr. Chairman.
I can look right out my window and see it, so I know that, and I've never had an issue with, nobody in my company's ever said an issue about noise, and they would complain. They have offices that they're on the phone with customers all day, right across adjacent from your building.
Yes, sir, but they're not.
People work here often 7 days a week or late at night. They've never even said a word.
What roadway do your trucks use to get out onto Bryce Road? Your trucks use Business Center Drive?
Yes, sir. Our entrance is halfway up Business Center Drive, directly east of the property. So we go out of our parking lot, we take a left-hand turn down Business Center Drive to get to
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Kay.
I think I fully agree with Mary Anderson, her description of the situation of potential tenants. And in addition to that, I think the approval of this plan will be in total contradiction to the C2P2 plan, which definitely there was an effort to develop this plan to be very successful. And thirdly, I think if the eventual tenant in this area, we have to think about the quality of life, because definitely if, according to Travis, if his truck moves around 2 a.m., 1 a.m., definitely a lot of people are going to be staying awake, and that will diminish the quality of life for those who will be renting.
All right. I have an opinion. I live up north of the Outer Belt in the city of Columbus. All through that area, there's a double railroad track that runs across parallel to Old State Road up near Polaris. And it's a trains run through there all night long. There's apartments, there's single family homes. They vibrate the ground. They make a lot of noise. Casto has a bunch of apartments adjacent to those tracks. People get used to it. The noise itself can be mitigated by design techniques. And I don't think if I was a developer, I would want to try to put a product out there that was so vulnerable to trucks using the roadway that no one would want to move into that end building. So the question is this property just going to sit there and be ignored for another 10 years, or is it going to find a way to be productive? I admit that I am swayed by the 5-0 vote of the area commission to be in approval of this. I think the problems can be resolved by design and engineering. Those are my comments. Anyone else want to weigh in? Please do so.
I'm going to reiterate just that this is open to enforcement by the health department upon a complaint of a resident. And it doesn't matter whether it was industrial first or it's non-conforming. All the resident has to do is live there to be able to lodge a complaint that affects a legal and a business operation that's been in business and has obviously more land to develop next to it. So you can solve it by design, but I don't see that. I don't see that that's been completely addressed. So, and likewise, I mean, I wouldn't want to live behind the Menards. Some people do. I think Marty's comment, you're foisting this situation on the people that move there and then have that discovery is a bit of a stretch. I kind of support staff on this as well. I mean, I'm pro development, but I think that there's other things that need to be done before I'm going to be convinced that this is a good idea.
Okay, let me ask the applicant, Jeff. I think you're going to, at best, you're going to have a split vote as we go forward here. Is this something you think you could solve and come back at another meeting with some other ideas, or do you want to just have us go ahead and vote on it?
Well, normally I would lean over the next chair and ask my client what he.
Well, I'm here.
Yeah.
Your client's right here. We'll table it to the next hearing.
All right. I think you see where the pressure point is, and everybody.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, okay. I completely understand, and I will have solutions for the problem when we come back.
All right. I need a motion to table. Marty, you're our call-in motioner, so would you please give us a motion to table case number 6 for tonight?
This is Marty. I move to table case number 6.
Okay, second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor of tabling, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, let's go forward to case number 7, Z20-036, 2625 Hilliard and Rome Road.
The site consists of a portion of an undeveloped parcel in the C4 commercial district. The requested CPD, Commercial Plan Development District, permits most C4 and C5 uses and would allow the site to be redeveloped with a fuel sales facility with accessory eating and drinking establishment, and convenience store with drive-in window service and minimal outdoor display sales. The north of the site is undeveloped land in the C4 and C2 commercial districts. The south is a commercial development in the C4 commercial district. The east, across Hilliard and Rome Road, is a commercial development in LC4 limited commercial district. The west is undeveloped land in the C4 commercial district and a multi-unit residential development in the ARLD apartment residential district. The site is located within boundaries of the Trey V. Roberts area plan, which recommends community commercial land uses at this location. The plan's design guidelines further recommend that buildings be oriented to the street, with parking hidden to the greatest extent possible and well-marked pedestrian connections to public streets. The site is located within the boundaries of the Far West Side Area Commission, whose recommendation is for approval. The development text proposes most C4 and C5 district uses, commits to a site plan, landscaping plan, and building elevations, and includes development standards addressing setbacks, site access, landscaping, building design, lighting, and graphics provisions. The requested CPD, Commercial Plan Development District, will allow the development of a fuel sales facility and convenience store with accessory eating and drinking establishment uses and minimal outdoor display sales that is compatible with adjacent commercial developments. The proposal is also consistent with the land use recommendations of the Trey B. Roberts area plan. Traffic impact study has been submitted to the Division of Traffic Management, and additional commitments may be needed based on the results of the approved traffic impact study. Once the issues are resolved with the Division of Traffic Management, staff's recommendation will be updated to approval. In the meantime, City Department's recommendation is disapproval. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, what is the status of the traffic impact at this point?
Chair, since the time of the staff report, we've been able to complete review of the traffic impact study that was submitted, and we've met with the applicant. There's some background improvements that have been identified that would likely need to be needed in the future at the intersection of Roberts Road and Hilliard and Rome Road. The applicant has agreed to make a proportional contribution to those potential future improvements. There's also some improvements at the site access point. The applicant has agreed to make those as well. With the surrounding undeveloped property, there's a good chance that when that does develop in the future, that a traffic signal would likely be needed at the intersection of Hilliard and Rome Road and Whirlwind Cove Drive. The applicant has agreed to make a contribution toward that potential future improvement. The exact amount or proportion of that contribution is still under negotiation. At this point, we believe that working that out and finalizing the traffic impact study can be done prior to City Council.
All right, and that being said, Kelsey, are you still in disapproval of this, or is that enough to change your staff report to approval?
All the commitments. So it sounds like there's still commitments that need to be kind of resolved. Discussions need to be had still. Once those commitments are finalized in the text and Daniel and his team are okay with those, then we'll be in support. Right now, being if there's still some final details that are being worked out, we'll still be in disapproval at this time.
Okay. All right. Does anybody have any comments on the commission? Kathy, do you have any comments?
We have no comments. Thank you very much.
Okay. Is anyone here to speak regarding this application tonight?
Good evening, Mr. Chair. Ryan Herkenrother for Skilkin Gold Development, here to answer any questions, but we are pleased to continue to work with Dan and the traffic department to come to resolution there in short order.
All right, and we've been through these kinds of discussions many, many times. And in your commitment to go forward in good faith with Dan, it's something like a blank check, because you have to agree to what he wants you to do, or you don't fall in favor of the commission. You understand that?
We do, and we will refine, those details here in the near future.
I think we can vote on whether this is an appropriate or not appropriate land use, but we also are going to put a condition on it that you resolve these undotted I's and uncrossed T's before this goes forward to City Council.
Understood. We agree.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right. And is there an updated date on that plan in the supplemental packet?
Chair, the updated plan is for the following case, not this one.
Okay, sorry.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Since he still has some outstanding issues to resolve with Dan, is it possible then to table this project, or you just go ahead and vote for it based on Kelsey's recommendation that it's for disapproval?
This is Marty, Mr. Chair. I would agree with Kay. I need to hear the commitments are final. This is an incredibly busy near intersection of Hilliard Rome Road and Roberts Road, and near future and conditions make me feel a little woozy. So, if I have to vote tonight, I'm likely to vote in the negative. That's not necessarily where I want to go with it, but I'm not comfortable with, commitments in the future.
I agree. It's a hardship that we faced often with the land use and the C2, P2 all being finalized and in different jurisdictions control roadways and traffic. So
I think, as applicant, we'd be willing to table until the next meeting. We hope, as Dan said, that we can come to a resolution here very quickly.
all right. Well, hopefully we'll see you next month then. All right, Marty, you're the cleanup hitter to.
I'm on it.
Okay.
This is Marty. I move to table application Z20036, number 7 on the agenda.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
You are tabled to the next available agenda. All right, that brings us to case number 8. Z20-062 931 Hilliard and Rome Road.
In your supplemental packet is a revised landscaping plan. The site consists of a portion of an undeveloped parcel that is currently undergoing annexation from Prairie Township. The requested CPD would allow the site to be developed with a fuel sales facility, with an eating and drinking establishment, convenience store with drive and window service, and minimal outdoor display sales. To the north, south, east, and east of the site is undeveloped land in Prairie Township. To the west is a home improvement store and a CPD, Commercial Plan Development District. The site is within the planning boundaries of the Trey B. Roberts Area Plan, which recommends community mixed-use land uses at this location. The plan also states that neighborhoods should have an interconnected street and sidewalk system to promote a pedestrian-friendly environment, and recommends that parking be hidden to the greatest extent possible. The site is located within the boundaries of the FAR West Side Area Commission, whose recommendation is for approval. The development tax permits most C4 and C5 uses, commits to a site plan, landscaping plan, and building elevations, and includes development standards addressing setbacks, site access, landscaping, building design, lighting, and graphics provisions. Variances to reduce the building line and eliminate the screening requirement along the perimeter between this site and adjacent property is included in this request. The requested CPD, Commercial Plan Development District, will allow the development of a fuel sales facility and convenience store with accessory eating and drinking establishment uses and minimal outdoor display sales. The CPD text establishes appropriate use restrictions and supplemental development standards, includes commitments to develop the site in accordance with a submitted site plan. The site plan and elevations include an interconnected street and sidewalk system to promote a pedestrian-friendly environment, and parking is hidden to the greatest extent possible, consistent with the recommendations of the Trey B. Roberts Area Plan. Additional discussions are still needed with the Division of Traffic Management regarding the following comments. Traffic impact study has been submitted and additional commitments may be needed based on the results of the approved study. Changes to the proposed access configuration, commitment to the CPD text to add northbound through and right lane at the proposed intersections of Hilliard and Rome Road and Hilliard and Rome Road East as a proposed right-in, right-out access point, and a revised CPD site plan based on the traffic impact study commitments that the proposed site access point to reline Hilliard and Rome Road East have been revised to 400 feet east of Hilliard and Rome Road. Once the above issues in the text and any other issues that come up with the approved traffic impact study, once those issues are resolved, the City Department's recommendation will be updated to approval. In the meantime, City Department's recommendation is for disapproval, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
No.
This must be 2020. It seems like Groundhog's Day. This is almost identical issues to the previous case. The applicant is here. Ryan, is that you?
That is, yes. Good evening again. Ryan Herkenrother, 4270 Morse Road.
All right. here we are again looking at what I would consider a reasonable land use, but the devil is in the details, and there are 5 unfinished business elements to this that probably won't produce any hardships, but they have to be finalized. And nobody likes to just go in with a wing and a prayer like Marty's last comments were on the previous case.
Understood, Mr. Chair. If I could ask Shannon to pull up the site plan again, I would appreciate it. This is a frankly more complex project. I would agree with you from a land use perspective. Frankly, little issue. Heavily traveled kind of arterial road here, and we've modified our site plan with landscaping and orientation and gain planning support there. But why I asked to bring up the site plan is the developer will be extending Hilliard Rome Road East here at substantial expense. And that involves city, county, and ultimately that roadway will be dedicated to the city. And quite a complex effort that involves significant oversight, and traffic will have multiple opportunities for input separate and aside from, the zoning tonight.
Let's have some input from the rest of the members on the commission. It's the horse in front of the carriage, or the carriage in front of the horse. Marty, what's your feeling?
Chairman, it's I understand what the applicant is saying. I really do. I know this intersection well. The traffic is already intense. I don't think it's I think the land use probably, as you all usually educate me, is absolutely appropriate, but it's too soon. That's too much in terms of traffic resolution issues for me, to feel comfortable saying we'll just go on a wing and a prayer. And to use your phrase, Mr. Chair, this one truly is the cart before the horse. And I would certainly be willing to move to table.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Mr. Chair? Frank Petrozello, President of Development, Skilk and Gold. How are you this evening? I would like to say that this is a fundamentally different situation than the prior one. The prior one has to do with future issues with regard to new traffic signal, existing traffic signal, and the like. This one, we have been working with traffic, city traffic, county traffic for many, many months, have gone back and forth many times on the configuration and the like. The issues that we're bringing up, honestly, are detailed issues. I would like to hear from Daniel as to how he thinks about this in respect to the prior application, because I believe that this is more about geometry and the like than it is about long-term commitments having to do with traffic signals that may or may not come and improvements at an intersection. Our contract here is very critical, and we would like the ability to finish solving these issues in the next week or so before it goes to council. We met with Dan and Daniel Blankschmidt yesterday, and I believe we are on the same page. We've agreed to everything that they have wanted. We have no conflict with anything. So if we need to just stipulate tonight that all of the requirements that Daniel has in the report are agreed to, that is fine with us.
Okay. And Daniel, if you see items, these bullet points 1 through 5 carried out and detailed, are you fine with that from a traffic point of view on this project?
That is correct. Yes.
The answer is yes.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, this is an isolated piece of property that's not connected to anything else. Again, our job has historically been whether or not this is an appropriate land use or not an appropriate land use. And we have constantly, in the last 2 years, we've run up against this multiple times with every agenda that the traffic hasn't yet been satisfied. There's a lot of cooks in the kitchen, a lot of different jurisdictions, and it's hard to get all those nuances reduced to writing while the master plan is still being formulated. I think the revised site plan is considerably better than the first site plan, and much more detail has been added. I would be okay with a conditional vote on you achieving all of these bullet points to the satisfaction of Daniel and his group, or you have to start over and start bringing the design back through the whole.
Yes.
Yes,
we are comfortable with that, Mr. Chairman, and we have agreed to stipulate to agree and perform all the items in his list.
All right. I would like anybody else on the commission, express yourself, please.
Mr. Chairman, I know we've in the past had that stipulation. Shannon, I just wanted to make sure, how is that worded, or, this is contingent upon, or can we do that? Or how do we do that?
Yes, we can condition your vote on basically an approved traffic impact study. If the traffic impact study is approved, and also all of the necessary commitments added to the CPD text. And when Daniel and Dan give us their blessing that this can move forward to City Council, they will let us know that all issues are resolved. And then that condition would be met if that's what you desire tonight.
Marty, you're the voice of the blank checks. What do you say?
Oh, that's very kind of you. This is Marty. I appreciate the condition, and it makes me feel better. Just so the applicant and the commission members know, I will vote no likely only because I am concerned about the legality of conditions after a positive vote. I appreciate what the applicant said. That makes me feel a lot better, and I'm sure it makes traffic feel a lot better. And I don't think it will hurt for me to play my usual role so that there's just a message up to City Council that there were conditions on this approval.
All right, that's fair, and I think everybody understands what they have to do, what their obligations are, and it's a tough negotiation when Dan gets to say, here's what we want you to do, and you get to say yes and pay for it. If there's a hiccup or a problem that can't be solved, you're going to have to come back and go through the process. And we'd like to see you move forward and keep your financing and your partners and all the things it takes to get this kind of thing organized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I understand. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Chair, I don't know that we heard from Kathy.
Kathy, what do you say about recreation and parks?
Recreation Parks has no challenges. We deferred them over to public service.
Okay. we like to hear your voice anyway. Okay, Shannon, what is the date on this updated site plan?
I'm going to let Kelsey answer that one.
I guess Brian, was that 12.9 on the text or on the landscape plan?
It was just the landscape, yeah. The site plan should have been.
It's got different driveway arrangement too.
It shares the landscape plan dated 12.9.
12/9. All right. I need a motion to incorporate the updated site plan with the major driveway at the far north end of the property, dated 12/9/2020. Marty, will you give us another motion for the last time tonight?
Yes, this is Marty. I so move the updated site plan dated 12/9/20.
All right. Second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, with that caveat, please call the roll.
Okay, Marty Anderson.
This is Marty. Because of my earlier comments with regard to the 5 unresolved traffic impact elements that I do believe will be resolved, I will vote no as some sort of guard against it slipping by and going to City Council without those being resolved. I fully believe the applicant will do so, so my no vote is not intended to be negative in that sense.
All right, and before we get off that subject, we have these ASA sheets, these information sheets that will go forward to City Council. Each of you has a chance to run a copy of that sheet, send it in to Shannon with your comments because we're all dispersed. We can't just pass it around the table. And then that information will be translated to City Council for their information. Okay, please continue with the roll call.
Maria Conroy.
Yes.
Amanda Golden.
Yes.
Don Ingerson.
Yes.
Kayan Mukwe.
I'm torn here, but Marty already covered the grounds for us, so I vote yes.
And Chair Fitzpatrick.
Okay, the vote is yes for me. You are approved to go forward. You got some homework to do before you get to City Council.
Thank you, and we accept and appreciate your faith that it will all move forward, and I assure you that we will deliver. Thank you.
Very good. All right, is there any motion to have the last meeting of the dreadful year 2020 completed and adjourned? Only Marty can properly make that motion.
Okay, this is Marty. Kay, you could have stuck with me there, buddy. I move to adjourn, and happy sort of holidays.
Yeah,
and I miss,
but there's no cookies. I
miss the peppermint bark.
And there's no cookies.
No.
I'm sorry. Double cookies next year for everybody.
I've got one comment, if I may. Just happiest of holidays, Merry Christmas to everyone. The zoning code is getting rewritten in the next couple of years, so at some point we're going to get interviewed, and I'm not sure when or how, but some interesting changes, and I haven't been reading the paper, so I don't know what they've been reporting, but it looks very interesting to single-family residential zoning. So
yes, Lisa Wise Consultants. They are just beginning delving into this. A couple zoning staff, manager colleagues of mine were we participated in a group interview with them that just kind of was more of like just an introduction and like what we feel is working, what we feel is not working, some things like so. Yeah, there's definitely. I don't know if all of you will be interviewed, but you will. There will be interviews done, and actually, staff's going to be conducting a lot of those stakeholder interviews. So we're going to be engaged in the process as well. So you might be talking to me, Tim, Haley, or Kelsey. So.
Do you like the consultants so far?
Yes, I actually was on the consultant selection team, so it was kind of a very interesting process for me to review 10 RFPs during ordinance crunch time. So yeah, it was a bit crazy.
Wow.
But, yeah.
Who was selected? Who was selected as
Lisa Wise consultants. They're actually out in California, but they Lisa is from Cincinnati.
Oh, cool.
And MKFK is the local that's on. They'll probably be doing a lot of outreach.
Good.
Right.
Well, hey, in 3 weeks, we'll be sitting in our sweatpants, our grimy sweatshirt, watching the ball drop. So 21 days, we can all do it.
I guess I should forewarn the Development Commission members that not only the Business Center Drive will be on the January agenda most likely next month, but the very contentious Pizzuti Giant Eagle site on East Whittier will be coming before you. And
I think I have to get my hair done.
January 14th, and also, I don't know if you've heard about the Hartman Farms development. A very huge site, 300 plus acres, an LM2 district for data center development. The area commission voted no on it, and there's opposition. So I just wanted to give you a warning that January will probably be a hefty meeting. Might explore doing 2 agendas like we did in November, because I think that works out a little bit better. So in February, there's going to be a policy item for the East Franklinton special parking area. So similar to the Short North special parking area, they're taking that to East Franklinton. So there'll be a policy code change item for you on the February 11th agenda.
So what you're saying is it's not going to get any better just because it's 21 days away.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So everybody stay safe, stay well, have as good of holidays as you can, keep it small. And yeah, extra cookies next year.
All right. We're counting on it.
Hey.
All right. Good
Okay.
night, everybody.
Good night. Merry Christmas, all. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good evening. Bye.
All right, let me get it. Hello, Shannon.
Good night. I'm trying to stop the live stream.
You got it.
Yep, it'll happen.
Great. See ya.
Bye.